Welcome to Translating Lunfardo. In this topic, we will explore the meaning of the word Lunfardo, how it came about, its history, the connection to today, and its connection to both Italian and Spanish. As Leonel has already explained to you, the late 19th century brought a tidal wave of European immigration to Argentina, mainly through the port of Buenos Aires. Spanish, Italian, French, even British and German immigrants began to wash up on our coasts, full of dreams and expectations. This torrent of immigration naturally caused fear and suspicion in the previous porteños, people from Buenos Aires, especially nationalists who started to fear the dissolution of Argentinian identity. The invading presence was mostly evident in the new foreign words that were heard on the streets. The term Lunfardo comes from the Italian term Lombardo, naming people from Lombardy in Italy, where a majority of Italian immigrants to Argentina in the late 19th century came from. Lunfardo is a type of urban slang or argot that developed in the marginal areas of Buenos Aires in Argentina and Montevideo in Uruguay, and later moved to another big immigrant city in Argentina, Rosario, rapidly lending some of its terms to the everyday language of ordinary people. Lunfardo has elements from the various languages of immigrants that arrived to this region in those days, predominantly Italian and Spanish, but also French, German, and even some terms from Yiddish. There is a critical tradition that sees Lunfardo as originally a secret code for criminals so that police or prison guards could not understand what they said. Others, though, see Lunfardo as an immigrant dialect that emerged as the result of the dynamic life of conventillos, big tenements, and also markets in Buenos Aires. We can see traces of Lunfardo's marginal origins as an encoded jargon in its common practice to say words backwards or al revés, like germu for mujer, woman, langa for galán, playboy, or dorapa for parado, standing up. Lunfardo was therefore scorned and marginalized, and people who used it to speak or write were deemed inferior outsiders. Argentinian dominant classes stressed the local as a defensive reaction to the anxiety of massive immigration, seeing immigrants as competitors who robbed them of their jobs or who brought strange and dangerous thoughts and customs. Does this ring a bell nowadays? As a result of a strong educational campaign to turn all immigrant children into real Argentine citizens, a great majority of immigrant children forgot the language of their parents and grandparents and also dropped the cultural practices in an effort to quickly assimilate. Like my father, for example, who cannot speak a word of Italian even though his dear nonna or grandma spoke Italian at home. This xenophobic attitude so deeply permeated Argentina's rapidly transculturating society that most immigrants were considered filthy or ignorant, and they were ridiculed with names like Gallegos for all Spaniards, Tanos for Italians, Rusos for all Eastern Europeans, and Turcos for all immigrants from the Middle East. But what is interesting about Lunfardo is that it allowed for creativity and improvisation without any strict allegiance to a single language or to correct grammar or syntax. Some specialists, then, see the original speakers of Lunfardo as rebels who resisted normalization and preferred to affirm their creative identity in Lunfardo's play with different languages and structures. In this way, we could say that Lunfardo came to show some very specific characteristics of that new Argentinian and Uruguayan urban identity that was emerging: creativity, resilience, rebelliousness, and wit. Tango, as a musical genre that was gaining widespread popularity, was pivotal in spreading Lunfardo, taking it to spaces where it was hardly spoken or even known. The growth of popular media, such as city newspapers, with young journalists who belonged to popular classes and used Lunfardo, also helped to make it known, criticized, and redeemed as a mark of Argentinian, Buenos Aires belonging. Lunfardo emerged in a context where the Spanish of the Rio de la Plata region had already received colonial indigenous influences from languages such as Quechua, with words like choclo, ñaupa, chacra, llama, and alpaca, mate, pampa, or Mapuche, cancha, poncho, pucho. This Rioplatense Spanish also kept colloquial terms from Spain's caló, such as chorro, afano, and changüí. The predominant new influence that Lunfardo showed was from Italian, with words like lungo from lungo, tall, long, apolichar from apollaiare, when chicken perched to sleep, bagallo, mina, laburar, and fiaca from fiaco, weak, are just a few of the many examples of this. Finally, there was the creative spirit of Buenos Aires and Montevideo immigrants, and this gave Lunfardo terms full of wit and expressiveness, like melón, melon, for head, bobo, dumb, for the never-stopping heart, or the more contemporary corralito, corral, for bank blocks that keep your money locked in, or arbolito, little trees, for illegal vendors of American dollars or greens. Now we are at the end of this topic, and what I hope you have gained from is an understanding of the connection of Lunfardo with Spanish and Italian, and also its intimate relationship with Argentinian and Uruguayan identities. In the next topic, we are going to discuss some song lyrics in detail. Before you start the next topic, we suggest you listen to the song Compadrón. It can be found by accessing further reading on the platform.